engage question. Thank you for your urgency. You okay? Thank you for moving quickly and silently, grabbing that binder, and then getting started immediately on your engage question. Yeah. Straight in, straight in. I have some ideas about attend, like makeup when kids are absent, so we'll talk about that after today. Thank you for jumping right in, looking great. Take 2 more minutes to answer that engage question. Mr. Meyer, thanks for looking good. Just about 1.5 minutes remaining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thirty seconds left to finish up your thoughts. Stanford, go ahead and pause those pencils. Put your eyes on me. We actually won't need your binders for quite some time, so you can go ahead and stick those in the basket underneath your desk just to keep your area clear. Do that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Thanks. Good morning, Stanford. My name is Miss Williamson. You might recognize me from being around campus sometimes. I work here 2 days a week, and a fun fact is that I used to be a 6th grade writing teacher when I lived in New York City. I was a writing teacher for 10 years, and it was one of my favorite jobs I ever had. And I miss it a lot. So I talked to Miss Edwards, and she was gracious enough to agree to let me come in. I'm gonna do a couple of days teaching with you guys, just because I really miss it and I enjoy working with kids. So you'll see me for a couple of days. Miss Edwards not going anywhere. She's still your reading teacher, she's still your writing teacher. But for the next couple of days, you're gonna have 2 teachers, which is even more fun. Thank you guys for being jumping right in. I'm really excited to start our writing lessons with you today. Take 10 seconds to tell your shoulder partner your answer to the engage question. Go ahead.
To how to make money there and then to not get sick.
Come back together in 3, 2, voices are off, 1, and 0. You've been reading a lot about immigration. Today we're going to start writing about immigration. Over the next 2 weeks or so, up until your winter break, you're going to be writing an informational essay about immigration using one of the texts that you've learned. It'll be very similar to the writing process you used when you wrote about the crossover, but the genre will be slightly different, so some new skills as well. and I'm really excited to get started with you guys today as we launch this project. Today we're going to be living in the plan phase of the writing process. You wouldn't just start writing an essay right away. So we're going to be planning our essay today. We're going to be doing some of the same things you did when you planned your crossover essay today, getting ready to write so that you feel really comfortable when it first starts on Monday when we actually start writing our essay. We have two aims for today. Christopher, can you read the first for us, please? And is it Lucia? I'm pronouncing that correctly? The second name, thanks. It's right on your packet too. Scholars will be able to.
Oh,
there you go.
the first one?
Yeah, thanks.
Students will be able to plan an essay draft by studying the prompt.
Thank you.
Students will be able to prepare to write an essay by collecting evidence.
Beautiful. Circle prompt, circle evidence. Those are our two keywords for our aim today. Your prompt is at the bottom of this page. We're going to take a moment to read it together. Similar to when you do guided reading, I'm going to read a line and then you're going to repeat that line loud and proud. We'll do one sentence at a time. All right. Read the article, Relive a Boy's Journey to America. Go ahead.
Read the article, Relive a Boy's Journey to America.
Explain how the author develops the idea that immigration was challenging.
Explain how the author develops the idea that immigration was challenging.
Write a well-organized informational essay that uses specific evidence from the play to support your answer.
Write a well-organized informational essay that uses specific evidence from the play to support your answer.
Find the two words that you think are most important in that prompt and circle them. Find the two words that you think are most important in that prompt and circle them. There's a couple right answers. I like that. Really tells you what you're writing about. Brandy, what was the first one that you circled? I circled that one on my page too. If you don't have that, you're not wrong. But I think that we really want to zoom in on this idea that immigration was challenging. I also saw some people circling the text. Not technically one word, but I always love making sure we're writing about the exact right thing. I saw some people circling immigration. These are giving some ideas about what we're going to be writing about. There are a couple of other great answers too, so don't stress if you don't have these, but add these if you don't have them now. In your own words, at the bottom of this page, you're going to write what you are writing about. So retell that prompt in your own words. Take 30 seconds. Go ahead. Thanks, Angelique, for jumping right in. What are you going to be writing about? Finish up your thoughts in the next 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Go ahead and tell the person next to you, even if you didn't finish writing your thought, what are you going to be writing about over the next 2 weeks? Go ahead.
I'm going to write about how immigration was challenging.
Exactly. Beautiful.
Oh, I
If you hear my voice snap once, if you hear my voice snap twice, beautiful. We have some great ideas about what we're going to be writing about. I want to point out that this is asking us about the author. So a question I'm asking myself was this: how does the author show us We're gonna make sure we're talking about the author of this text quite a bit as we are writing. Other than that, your ideas were spot on. Go ahead and flip your page. As we heard during our aim, today we're gonna be working on collecting our evidence. You used a chart that looks like this picture when you gathered evidence for your crossover essay. We're gonna do the same thing today, but because it's a different genre, I'm gonna show you my thinking when we're collecting evidence so that you can match mine. I also wrote an informational essay. Writing essays is one of my all-time favorite activities. But my prompt was at one of the top here, where it says my prompt. This is just Miss Williamson and Miss Edwards' prompt. You guys aren't writing this one, but it's a very similar essay. I'm gonna read it to you, follow along on your page. Read the text, Arrivals from Asia. You might remember this text from your reading class. It looks like this, and it was a short informational text about arrivals from Asia. You're not writing about it, but you did read it. Explain how the author develops the idea that immigration can provide new opportunities. Write a well-organized informational essay that uses specific evidence from the play to support your answer. So I used a different text than y'all, but I also wrote about immigration, and I wrote about how it can provide new opportunities. Thanks, Chris, for making your page look like mine. I didn't ask you to, but I always love that. Different text, but very similar topic. However, I'm writing about how immigration can provide new opportunities. So a lot of the positives, whereas you guys are writing about how it can be challenging.
We haven't read that story.
Okay, that's totally fine, because I'm just gonna show you my thinking, but thank you for letting me know, that's helpful to know. Before I wrote my essay, I collected my evidence. I'm gonna walk you through what I did so you can do the same thing during independent practice in a few minutes. Anytime I make a mark on my paper, I want you to do the same, just like Christopher started to do on the prompt. Thank you so much. Okay, so I read my prompt before I got started. That was the very first thing that I did. And I need to start to think about, where am I gonna find my evidence in this entire text? I have a lot to read, but I know that I'm writing about new opportunities. So when I flipped through my text, I looked at the subheadings, and I noticed that this one said facing challenges. I actually don't think I'm gonna find a lot about new opportunities there, because this is gonna be about how it's hard. But I did notice this subheading, pushes and pulls. I remember from pushes and pulls from immigration, this is gonna show a lot of the reasons why people travel to a country, and I think I might find some of the new opportunities here. So I'm gonna zoom in on one part of my text. You also see it in your packet right here. I'm gonna read this subsection. I'm not gonna reread the whole text. I'm just gonna reread the part where I think I can find some really good evidence. And I'm gonna look for some opportunities. By 2011, you can look on your page too because you have it, China, India, and the Philippines, Vietnam, and Korea ranked among the top 10 countries of births for America's foreign-born population. Okay, that tells me that they immigrated, but it doesn't really tell me why or what the opportunities that they had. The consistent pull factor here is the opportunities they have here. But what are the opportunities? Meanwhile, factors back home pushed immigrants to move abroad. Although the economies of India and the Philippines have been growing, for example, opportunities were limited. Interesting. I'm gonna underline that sentence. Although the economies of India and the Philippines have been growing, for example, opportunities were limited. This talks about the opportunities that immigration might provide, which is directly related to my prompt. I even see the same word, opportunities. Once I've found my evidence in my text, I need to add it to my annotation chart. Notice here how I copied, and it's a little tiny hard to see, but that's okay. I copied exactly the words into my annotation chart. I'm gonna write copied up here to remind myself that I just copied exactly from the text in this evidence box. The next step is to paraphrase. So once I have my evidence, I need to ask myself, in my own words, what's happening here? And it's really showing me that there weren't a lot of jobs in some of these Asian countries. Write own words and the paraphrase box. This is just my own words about what I just read. And you make sure you're getting that into her. Own words. Lastly, I'm elaborating. I'm reminding myself why I included that evidence. You should have those 3 annotations copied, own words and why, on your chart as well. And then you'll notice I did this lots of times over and over again because I want lots of evidence to choose from in my essay. That's what I did, and that's what you're gonna do later. In the box at the bottom of the page, take 1 minute. What did you just see me do? How did I collect evidence? Go ahead and jot your thoughts. Go ahead. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Jaden. Thanks, Christopher. Thanks, Brandy. Tell your shoulder partner what you saw me do. Go ahead.
I saw her do pop. And putting her over and then the reason
Back up front, flip your page 5. Voices out 4, 3. Thanks for being there, Randy. 2. Thanks, James. 1. So your legs there under your desk. Thanks, bud. And 0. On this page, there's a chart that will show you the steps that I took and the steps that you're going to use during independent practice to collect evidence. Take 30 seconds to read it. I want you to give a check mark for anything that you noticed me do. So I should see you checking off steps that you saw me take, that you saw too. Go ahead. Eyes back on me in 5, 4, 3, 2. Body's nice and straight and tall. 1 and 0. We are now going to jump in for your time to collect evidence. Reminder that you're writing about Relive a Boy's Journey to America and how immigration was challenging. I wrote about opportunities in arrival to Asia, similar but not exactly the same. In just a moment, you're going to have one of these yellow packets, very similar to what you had for the crossover. You can please put your name on it, of course. Refresh your memory about your prompts, but then you're going to pretty quickly turn to page 2, where you're going to start collecting evidence for your essay. Let's take a look at our CFS so you know what I'm looking for as I'm coming around looking at your work. I'm looking that your evidence is relevant to the task. Please circle relevant. Relevant means it's related. I don't want you writing about how immigration was really cool and fun. We're writing about how it's challenging, right? Challenging next to relevant. A clear organizational structure. Me and Ms. Edwards gave that to you already, and it's in this chart. Congratulations. As long as you're using this chart, you're doing that well. And lastly, it's logically organized and grouped. That means you're writing down your page numbers or your paragraph numbers. It's help you at all if you go to write your essay and you completely forgot where you found this evidence. The big thing I'm looking for today is that your evidence is relevant, because that's where I think the most mistakes might come if we're not being really careful. So as I come around, I'm going to be looking for relevant evidence that relates to your essay topic. You're going to need the text, Relive a Boy's Journey to America. It should be in your binder. I have extra copies if you don't have it. Go ahead and take 30 seconds to take that out. Can you put one of these on each student's desk? Thank you. If you don't have it, go ahead and just raise your hand. I have some extra copies. Hey, Maya. Go ahead and grab your binder out, sweetheart, and I'm going to get you caught up on what we just put in the semester. Thank you. Beautiful. In 10 seconds, this is like of course, if you have your phone right out, I'll let you know. In 10 seconds, you should have a yellow packet and you should have Relive a Boy's Journey to America. Let me know, Amy, if you need an extra one.
What I do for the extra?
Just leave them on the desk right there. Thanks, Garber. 5, eyes back up here. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Jeremiah, what are you going to be working on during independent practice? And where are you going to put it? Yeah, on page what? On page 2, yeah, absolutely. What am I going to be looking for? The biggest thing that I'm going to be looking for as I'm coming around to look at your work. Amy. Amy, what's the biggest thing that I'm going to be looking for as I come around looking at your work? I will be looking at that, but there's something that you annotated that's even more important today. Yeah, I'm going to be looking for the fact that your evidence is relevant, which means that you're finding evidence that immigration was challenging. Beautiful. We're going to start with 8 minutes of independent practice. We're going to come back together, and I'm going to do a show call where I show a really beautiful piece, and then you're going to have a little bit more time. I know, get excited, Leah, it could be yours. Go ahead, start independent practice now. You have 8 minutes. Maria, thanks for your patience. I'm going to check in with you in just a second. How are you doing right now? Yes. From maybe from, it's just an immigration photo. I thought they were kind of trying to learn. Starting have the gist. Beautiful, that's a great gist. Smart choice. I'm just going through and underlining first and you're gonna have your shirt. Love that plan. I chose that one too. Keep it on working. Just about a minute left. Keep working. 10 seconds to find a good stopping point. And have your eyes head here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Thanks for Maya. And you just pop that pencil strap. Thank you. Thanks, Kelsey. Thanks, Mario. Thank you, Alina. Beautiful. Thanks, Jane. You just swivel those legs. Beautiful start so far. I saw lots of really well organized evidence. A reminder that the big thing we're focusing on today is that our evidence is relevant, meaning it relates to our prompt. We're going to take a look at one of our teammates. You don't have to write that on yours. I'm just reminding you. I'm going to take a look at one of your teammates' evidence that they chose and ask the question. The question being, is this evidence relevant? Did this person choose relevant evidence? Just grab a space for heart anywhere and I'll get you started in just one moment. Thank you so much. Is this evidence relevant? Brandy chose these 3 quotes that we're going to take a look at together. The 2-week trip, thanks for making it. The 2-week trip was miserable. Many people were sent back to where they came from, and we hit many bad storms at sea. It rained hard, and I was often wet and shivering. With the person next to you, when I say go, is this evidence relevant to the prompt? Why or why not? Go ahead. Do you have Thank you for your patience, girl. Grab your binder right now and grab a packet from the back. Thanks, guys. It's okay. We're going to kind of form a little bit in the ear here. Just a second.
Because that all happened.
So we know it's about immigration. Why?
And the trip.
And so then what those like? Immigration is awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So it's showing them as what? Yeah. Immigration visa and the challenge visa. Coming back together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and thanks, Mario. 0, just swivel your body this way. Thanks for just rolling with it. I know you're just getting started. If you think that this evidence is not relevant to the prompt, means this person needs to find some new evidence, give me 2 snaps on 2. 1, 2. If you think this evidence is relevant, means evidence is great, keep going. 2 snaps on 2. 1, 2. Beautiful. Tell me why, Christopher.
Because
This evidence is relevant because?
this evidence is relevant because it shows how it was challenging for immigrants.
What words in this piece of evidence, or like one of these 3 pieces of evidence, shows challenge?
Bad storms, and it rained hard, and it was wet and shivering.
Yeah, I don't like any of those things. What is a piece of evidence, one word, Jorge, in the first piece of evidence that shows that this is a challenge?
The,
One more time?
more visible.
Yeah, that's the one I thought about it too. This one, I would say sent back, is probably showing the challenge. All 3 of the pieces of evidence that Brandy chose relate to challenge. Jade, you said something really important about how these relate to the immigration journey. Can you share that with your class? It's relevant because?
It's relevant because it's how they traveled to America.
Yeah, which is the immigration journey. These are 3 really strong pieces of evidence for Brandy's essay. If you forgot about these or didn't notice them, definitely feel free to use them as you continue to collect evidence. But I want to push you to make sure you're getting evidence from the whole, not the whole text, but lots of parts of the text, because that will help us in our essay later. Keep going. You guys are doing a beautiful job on your evidence collection so far. Go ahead. And thank you so much, Brandy, for letting us use your work. We learned a lot from it. Grab Just pop up here, bring your packet, and bring your binder. Yeah, go ahead. We're gonna like kind of create a little pod of 3 over here, okay? I'm gonna pull this chair around. Thanks for jumping right back in, Angelique. Looking good, Christopher. Looking good, Jaden. Thanks, guys, for just jumping in. I know that it's a little confusing to come in and go over across, but thank you guys for just being patient. And I'm gonna talk about what you guys are gonna do. Looking good, Amy. Thanks, Leah. Okay, first things first. My name is Ms. Williamson. Hi. Nice to see you guys. I told the class earlier that I used to be a 6th grade writing teacher for 10 years, and I'm also working with kids. My job right now is to work with teachers, and so Miss Evans agreed that I could come in for a couple of days just to like work with you guys. She's still your teacher, nothing's changing. So just, you know, have 2 teachers for all of this. Really fun. We're going to be working on our writing task. You guys remember when you wrote the essay from the crossover? Beautiful. It's going to be pretty similar to that, but we're going to be writing about immigration since that was your meeting. Thanks, Angelique. Looking good. Thanks, Jaden. Thanks, Leah. Your comment is on the front cover of your yellow packet. Let's take a moment to read it together right now. Moving of those journey to America. Explain how the author develops the idea that immigration is challenging. Write a well-organized informational essay that uses specific elements from the play. Yeah, what? It uses specific elements from the play to support your answers. Thanks, Annalena. Thanks, Brandy. I want you to circle a couple of words in this box. I want you to circle immigration. I want you to circle challenging. I want you to underline the title of the text when you're ready. So we're basically answering your question of how does the author show us that immigration is challenging? He does a lot of things and stuff. You guys remember this one about the guy who represents as a kid who came over and he's telling the story about his father, and I think that's what I haven't actually caught you how we can express. So that's what we're writing about. Looking at the page. And I also want you to take a look at in your white packet, the model on the second page. Thanks, Christopher. Thanks, Jaden. Looking good. Beautiful. Sorry, a lot of stuff. This one. So I'm writing an essay, I wrote an essay that's pretty similar to your guys's, but it's about a text called Arrivals in Asia, and it's about how immigration provides new opportunities. So it's more like a positive spin on immigration while you like learn about the challenges of it. This is a picture of the evidence collection I did, so you guys can use it to help you with your little stuff. I'm going to point out some things I did. This evidence is copied exactly into this box. You can make these annotations on your page too, that'll help you later. You can read your picture down. Looking beautiful, team. Thanks, Jorge. Thanks, Angelique. Looking good, Jaden. Thanks, Lucia. Thanks, Alina. Oh, these are yours. I'm making up animations for you. Lucky duck. So this is copied directly from the text into this box. working, just because I'm getting told things. You're doing a beautiful job, keep working. If you have not gotten any evidence from this bottom chunk yet, I'm gonna challenge you to do that too. You have just about 5 minutes, actually exactly 5 minutes remaining. Nice job. Make sure you have something from this bottom section if you don't have that